G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video. Today we're going to do a nice beginner's subject of a nice, flourishing, luscious green water lake scene. All right, I'll get some sizes on the canvas there for you. And also I'll have some colours running up the screen as well. Now this is a beginner's painting and you can do it. If you feel you can't do it, it's just your inner self saying, you just need some practice, then you can, okay? It's that easy. So come on over here and we'll get right into it, all right? What I've got here is some soft-bodied acrylic white paint, titanium white. I call it craft white. In the heading you'll see craft white. That's just because it's soft-bodied. It's like a student grade paint. I want a little bit of retarder in there because I want to be able to mix the sky colours. You know, have you ever seen oil artists? They put their magic white on and then they blend their colours together. It's hard to do that in acrylic unless you know what to do. And I pretty much mix this up to make my magic white, so to speak. But it's only because it's the way I blend my skies. If you've seen my videos, you'll be familiar with that. Okay, and I'll just show you. So I use this beautiful putter on a brush. Don't muck around this brush. I've got my horizon line in here and I'm going to have some trees there. So we'll get this and prime up the sky area where I want to paint the sky. And this is what I normally do first when I'm doing a landscape. Get a bit more. And I'm putting it on with the brush. I don't care how thick and gluggy it is. Get it to the height where I want the top of the trees to be. And it's quite thick and gluggy and blumpy and all sorts of stuff like that. Any beginner can put paint on a canvas like this. Then what you do when you got this putter on a brush, it's quite stiff and firm. I go to the tip of the bristle, and then I start, here it's scratching, and I iron all the lumps out so it's nice and smooth, even sheet of white, undercoloured painting, ready to do a sky. Now I haven't washed me putter on a brush, I've just got me cerulean blue and I've got a bit of grey there as well. And the white colour on the canvas is going to lighten this value down so it's not so loud and cartoon looky. So I'll start from the top. And if anything, I want it to fade as it comes down to the bottom. So I'm just coming all the way down, right across the canvas like this, right to the bottom of that white paint that I put on. Now I'm going to the tip of the brush again, and I'm pushing it, getting beautiful, even strokes. I'll push it around a bit more where I want it, and back to the tip, nice, even strokes. Okay, now I'm going to pick up some of that grey you saw on the palette, just in the tip of the brush. And we'll just get a lighter value in the bottom of the sky. Something to create distance and pollution in the horizon area of the sky. There we go, I'm pushing it up, getting it faded around. Don't want it too high, just that's high enough. That's it. If anything, it's a little bit too high, but that'll be okay for the lesson's sake. Okay, now I can clean this brush and we'll put some clouds onto that prepared, ready surface. Okay, my next go-to brush is me putter on a brush for the clouds. I'm using titanium white. This is more structured. It's not like that paint, okay? And I use a hog bristle fan brush. Now, if your fan brush opens out like fingers when you wet it, you got the wrong fan brush. That's for watercolors. They're really soft. You want a sturdy one like this hog bristle, and this is what I enjoy and find so comfortable stamping on clouds in your sky. So I could probably put some low ones here as an example. I'll just put some low ones here. They're probably going to get covered up by trees, but I just want to show you. So make some kind of cloud there and maybe something here. I'm stamping it on. I'm not going to go and do lines like this and blend those lines. You want a body of a cloud, just flimsily, floppily, wonkety around the place, and put little, I always pull them out like that, and they just make a more pleasant looking cloud. Now grab your blending brush and a cloth. It's always important to have a cloth. And you watch, you just sort of tickle the tops a little bit, and your brush, look, it's constantly picking up paint. Wipe it, you can control. You can bring this along like that. Look how that's smeared into that undercolor. Beautiful, like the oil artists get. Okay, do the same there. These are just low clouds, and pull it down to the horizon there. All right, and we'll do the same to the other one over there. Just something a bit different. Try not to make them too uniform. Just lovely. Look at clouds and study what a decent shape looks like, and you can incorporate that into your art. I'll just get something in here like so. And that's it. I do get carried away making them too long, boom, boom, boom. I want to try and see how this one is totally different to that. Okay, now we'll just put some beautiful ones in the sky. I've cleaned that fan brush. Now we can very easily get carried away over clouding a sky. So I just want to put some soft little cirrusy ones up there. Maybe a bigger one here overhead, something here. And I don't know, a whispery one there. This is just as an example, and something over here. Boom, my paint's wearing out. What I mean by that, it's starting to pick up blue now. If I go and try and add another one here, it's going to be blue and mushy. So that's it. I could do more if I want, or leave it as it is. I'm quite happy with the amount that are on the sky. So this one's a high cirrus. Those ones are like, they pretty much have no edge. They're kind of waving and blowing in the wind like that. Simple. See how we got some whiter white and duller white. Then up here to this one, we can bring this as a bit of a thicker, closer cloud that's closer to us. We've got a bum on it. The bum is the bottom. Okay, well, let's straighten that up a bit there. Everything's still wet and controllable. And then we'll lightly fluff up the top. Now it's a sunny, beautiful day. There's no weather in these clouds, so they're just pure white today. So many clouds can have different weathers and colours in them and whatever, light refracting through them, but today it's just this kind of sky. That grey tempo is changing the sky, giving it that severe look. This is a nice cirrus, not much of it there, but it's whispering around in the sky, and it's a wonderful gap filler. And there you go. You pretty much got a decent sky. Now, I've given this a dry. You can see my horizon line is here, but the sky stopped there. This is going to be from here to about here is the line of trees on the other side of this lake, but down here is going to be the depth colour. So I've got myself some perylene green. It's a really dark green. Just mix yourself up the most darkest green you got. And this is going to feather from the bottom upwards. So it's going to be pretty much all the way along here, like so. I'll get that reasonably level-ish, because it's going to have a nice grass bank in front of it as well. So just get that reasonably level. Just get it gingerly done across there where you want it for now. Now this is just raw paint onto the canvas. You can see the difference, how it's very chalky and dry compared to when I put the sky colours on that white paint that was already there. Okay, so we've got that just cascading up there like that. And now we want to break this up into the trees. So just start getting it into the blue, like so, up and downish. Find your little spots like this. I want to go like this. I don't want it just a solid line. I want some a bit right up and down. Get in there like that, all the way along. And now I've done some unevenness of it, because the actual trees are going to finish up here, but this is the dark bottom area of the trees. All right, now I'm going for some simple colours here, just forest green and cadmium yellow. Now let's get a little bit of that into the darker green, just so we can see it, just enough. See, I'm just putting enough in there, because on its own it's a little bit dense and dark, but this is just making it a bit more opaque, just so we could see what's out there. Now I'm just using a chiseled flat brush just so as I can get this kind of like tall lake type of trees. Now these are going to be up here somewhere. I'll start at the bottom so as I can get the brush trained to. Now see how I just put that on and it's very solid. I want to try and, let's open that brush up a bit. I want to try and, let's try here, open it. See, it's a bit more open there. That's better. And feather it down into this green. They're all tall lake type of trees. I forget what these ones are called, but they've got their own name. And we're going to bring that into the black, leaving bits of sky windows there. And we can also get the black if we need, and there, see the opening bits, transition the black into this green a bit better, because you don't want to see the dark line there like that. And we're just simply going to put some lakey trees. Either way, I'm hitting it into there, so I'm keeping the brush open. That's what I want. I don't want to go like this and have it like that. I want it opening. And pretty much some of this can be darker and lighter, some of them can be shorter, some of them are really clumped together. Try and make it like nature intends trees to be, a bit all over the place, some up here. And the highlights is going to put some in forward and in front of each other, so they don't look like a row of tin soldiers standing up waiting to be knocked down. Okay, I've dried that. You can leave it like that if you have, depending how far of a beginner you are. Now what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing the Perylene again on a smaller flat brush, opening up the brushes, and I'm kind of, in some of them, just bringing up a bit of darkness so I can get in the middle of some of these trees just here and there like that. This will all be sunken down with highlights, but not everywhere, just periodically scattered around and bring up some more darkness and play with the layout of the colours, the lights and darks. We can dry that and we can highlight it now. Okay, so we got this forest green. I'm pulling it out on that angled flat brush again. I'm going to use the same brush to highlight it. And now I want to make the highlight colour and try and find the right tempo, not too bright but not too dark. And I want to do like I did before, just get it stamped into the brush to open it up. I'll get a little bit more in there. And I want to concentrate on the very tops and scatter down, just so you'll see. And see how I went on there? That was a bit solid. I want the brush to be opened. Let's try again. Come down. I'll see this tree. I'm going to bring it within that dark, and then boom. This one here. Same again. Load your brush up as you go because it's constantly needing paint. Little bits of grass or something here. Get up there. That can sit behind, and I'll just bring this one sort of in front like that. See how we're just making things? And those dark trunks that we put in there just previously, you want to kind of show them, dance around it, come in front here and there, and you can see what's happening. Take a step back. I'll cover some of that up so I don't look so deliberate. Some in front of that trunk there, beautiful bits there, right up here. There's light refracting all over these trees, but the main bottom is very dark. Just moving right along. I'll push that other stuff behind. Get him in there. I'm pretty much dancing along the top, cascading down, leaving a gap and bringing something down. I'm trying to make these like pine-like shapes in my mind. There we go. And you can see this lighter colour, how it's sitting on top of the dark colours. It makes it look like there's distance and depth within our trees. And down the bottom of all these trees now, I've got the darker value that I was going for, which is going to make it look good sitting against the shore of this lake system. Now I've pulled a little bit of white into the yellowy green there, just to mute it a bit. Because just the very tops, you can leave yours if you're happy the way it is, but I want to make it look like lights just touching the top of the leaves. So see the difference in this? It's more muted. And we'll just carefully get the tops dancing a little bit. Just on some of the tops there, just to make it come beyond, on the thing beyond and then down. It just looks like that sunlight above's just really crisping up the tops of some of these. There we go. Not too much. Don't go all over it, and see how it just looks like light is dancing up there now. We're creating light just at the very tops because the sun's right above, so it's just lunchtime, 12 o'clock, right above. It's just casting the tips, the weaker bits in the light there. You know what? Not that we need to, but watch what this does. It just puts a little bush there. Okay, and some of the low stuff that we feel we put in there, we can probably try and highlight some of them where the sun's just hitting them. And the darks that are in there are setting everything back. For those of you who want to go this extra little mile, it's only a small mile, grab yourself just some pure black on a script liner and like from the dark bits there, very skinnily put some wood. This just adds the vibe of more realism within your painting. From the dark, just like that, do a bit, look through a camera lens or squint your eyes and see how you feel your painting's going. And if you're happy with it, keep going. Now I've dried this. Now what I want to do is I want to just put that craft paint down here to get our water, and I'm going to gingerly put in our reflections. That's quite easy to do. Then we'll put the little bit of shoreline in front of that, so we're working forward. So I'm going to grab this pile here, doesn't have the retarder in it. You don't need the retarder in here. Why not, Ian? Because we're just using this to get the paint of the watercolours to move together. We're not going to need a big window open to blend colours beautifully. I'll show you what I mean. So let's just get all this. I'm going to have some trees in front here, so it's not important to get it all the way down to that bottom corner. I want to get it pushed up there. It's underneath here. Try not to get a ridge of paint there if you can help it. And we're just going to put our water sky colours in there and everything. So just get that like that. Stroke it left and right because that's the way water sits, flat and horizontal. There we go, like that. Grab your sky colour again. No retarder, nothing in this. That white paint on the canvas is going to allow this to do all its movement. And from about here, I'm going to get the brush on its edge, nice and just flat at the moment. And then I'll start pushing this into that white paint. Look how that's spreading in the white paint. And we're getting the same value of the sky, pick up some more, in the water, okay? Right across there. Right across there. That white paint, there we go. I don't want that in there. There we go. And we're just going to push this across the water to get our sky reflection in the water. And then where you feel you got some clouds, we can put them in the water as well. So we just pick up some of the white paint, keeping this, put her on a brush. Just grab any brush and some more titanium white. Oh, I don't need that much. So I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to look at my sky and pretty much emulate some clouds within the water there, something there, and maybe something feathering out here. That'll do. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one's going to analyse it and go, not quite right. They're not going to put rulers and all that stuff on there. Now grab your putter on a brush, start somewhere here, and then just try and push them through. Wipe your brush again. Now what you can do, I just thought of it, if you want, is grab a blending brush. I'll put a bit more back there, just so it's a bit more deliberate, so you'll see what I mean where those clouds were. Grab a blending brush and you can kind of blend them into the water like so. Wipe it, blend that into the water so you're not losing too much of that cloud there. Blend it like that, fine. And then just try and move it. There we go, nice and level. I've given this a light dry. That dark perylene green that I did the bottom of the trees with, I'm stabbing that back on the bottom of the same angled flat brush. Now along here, excuse me, I want to get that back where I lost it. Try not to bring this up in there because you've finished that half. We're going to start bringing the bottom half down. So what I want to do is roughly get some of this on and pull it in a scratchy down motion. Now see that bit of white that I didn't want on there? You can see why, because this brush is digging into it. Now we're just pulling this down like so. Now some of this might be covered up by the bank, that's okay, because sometimes reflections are distorted. They might be longer than what's up there or shorter depending on the angle wherever the photo was taken or how you're looking at it or light's refracting. So I want to pretty much put it on that bit, get a bit more on your brush. Don't have it too wet because you can't break it up. And then we're scratching it down into the water like so. So I've finished all there. I've gave it a bit of a dry. Now we're going to grab the darker green again, which was over here. See, if you've got a palette like mine, I've keeping everything wet by spraying water on it. I'm grabbing this darker green with the tidbit of yellow in it just to turn the lights on. So I'll start in the middle first. So I want to kind of open that up. Now, come from the black, get into our water and do it in pulling motions, okay? Leaving the sky within it. Get on the black, pull it down, leaving, see how we got individual pieces? Try and emulate that within your reflection there. So I'll get there. And you want a lot of sky windows in this colour as well. Now if you feel, I'm adding a little bit more of the darker forest green there, there we go, because I felt it was a bit too light. And I'm just pulling this down into the water from the black. And I'm pretty much going to do this now and then pulling it down. Let it nice and straight, keeping different trees within there. There's a tree, there's a tree. It's all blurry, it's distorted. It doesn't have to be exact, but so long as it's within reason of what's up top. Okay, finished all the way along there. I've given that a light dry, grabbing the highlighted colour. Okay, so we're going to get that in the brush, opening it up so we get that same thing. Now what we got to do here on the canvas, when we were painting the trees at the top, we're painting them like this, okay? Putting it on and painting. When we're reflecting in the water, we're going to be going boom, but control those flicks. Don't let them flick out like that. Otherwise your business will start looking like somebody else's business that didn't know what they were doing. And we want to come from the black. Let's start from here. Leaving some of that black there, getting some of the highlights there. Now I've got to feel it's, I feel it's not quite level. There we go. Leave enough room because we're going to put a bit of a bank in there. So leave enough room and just highlighting some of this, pulling it in a downward motion, because depending on your climate it could be drying straight away and you don't want to be able to put it on and then not scratch it down into the water, okay? Now I've given it a light dry. We're going to come to the more yellowy colour and just get some distinct highlights happening. Now see how you can see this scouring along the black there? I want to kind of like this, bleed that back up there like so, over these shadows. Now what I want to do is grab a flat brush, get a little bit damp so it's going to transfer, and I want to grab my bullshit stick. That's my square stick, my straight stick that makes lines very straight. And I want to get like a bank across there, something quite wide at this end, in the middle. So I'll get the middle bit of there first. So we're going to get this right along here, in the middle, along that line. It's going to be pretty much skinny on this side. And then I can work out the thickness I want it to be. I want it come, I'm turning my brush, getting it thick and thin. I've done this in a few other videos before and I keep reminding myself to do more of it because I reckon they're beautiful, easy to achieve. And I want it nice and wide at this end here. Boom. Now I'll pull the bullshit stick away just so you can see what's happened there. This is going to be highlighted. Now the top bit, don't have it exactly level. You can put this slight, come here I'll show you, this darker bit, just a slight mound, something like that. Okay, now we'll give this a dry and then we'll highlight it. Now grabbing that yellow again, mix with it, we want it reasonably lawn grass colour. I'll go a little bit, I'll put a little bit more yellow there, just a little bit, and get that the value I want. And we'll just subtly, gingerly and carefully map this on top of that dark green that we just put on there, okay? So I will start from the very, that's still a bit wet, like here, watch. Getting it on, leaving some dark there. Wipe a lot of it off the brush like that. And you want this to kind of scrumble in with it if you want it. It's kind of looks good. Get it down, leaving a dark edge where this at the bottom is meeting the water. Because when we put our waterline there with the glaze, it's going to sink it back. And leave some darker bits in it, because lawn has different tones and values within it from a distance. Now we'll get this bit over here, watch, we'll just boom there, nice and sharp there, coming along, letting it tear, getting it, this is just lawn along the lush green lake bank there. Beautiful like that, a bit more, and play with it, make it your own, make it totally your own. Right along there, like so. And let's say we want a nice bit of brighter grass out here, you just simply scratch it in like so, coming over the mountain or that hill there, tapering down, whatever. Leaving some of the darks there, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit fossiling its way through here. So yeah, don't overdo it though, because you can put too much detail and make things look ridiculously busy. And that looks like distant bank over there on the other side of this swamp, lake, waterland, whatever. Now the next procedure is to put the film of the surface, the water surface there. So I've got some of that titanium white, and I normally just get some of this glaze. That's plenty. Now what I do, I've found out through practice, I'll use a flat brush. Now this glaze is going to be the surface of my water area, but I just want to taint it with some white, and I tell you what, you don't need too much. So let me just put out here what I feel I want to use. Okay, a bit more there. Now I'll taint that up with the white, because this dries see-throughy. I don't want it really loud see-throughy. Get a bit more within it. There we go. Come over here. And this is going to make our surface. So I'll show you what you can do. There's plenty of things you can do here. And I love using a flat brush because it's a lot easier for a beginner to achieve than a knife. So first I'll just grab my bullshit stick and I'll get the water hitting the edge out here. I want deliberate water here. So I'm doing scallops, because there's a lot of wind and movement in this corner. So I'm deliberately getting this corner scalloped up with wind hitting the water like this, like so. Taper it out. And I'm scattering it, cross-bonding the strokes so they're all over the place like so. Okay, just like that. You can see, I'll move the stick. Now with the glaze as well, I have found out if you muck with it too much, it digs the buggery out of your paint. Now what I'll do, I'll grab maybe Mal, see how we go, and I want to just create now the, oh, I don't want big thick ones like that. The surface, come from here, and then putting bands of this, but try and keep it level, sinking your reflections down just like so, boom. Get it on the brush evenly so you don't get surprisingly big marks here and there. Come across here, hitting the bank there, there we go. Get some along here, there, I'll get those ones mixed up. And we'll get a bit more light hitting out here. I'm just going to pull some of those thick edges away. See if I can get a bit of blue tainted with that as well, just the slightest bit of blue, not much at all. Like, it looks like the wind's hitting the water. Here we go, something like this. Bits of scallops, pockets of scallops like this. make it look quite realistic as well for a beginner to achieve. Coming out of the green and into the blue, it's a bit darker. And just over that cloud, we'll sink that cloud reflection down as well, just to give you an idea. And this is a heap of wind just hitting the surface of the water here. All right, now we just want to put our foreground in and we're done. So this bit here, I want to make dark, so I'll just grab, I've just got a large filbert. I'm just going to pick up this forest green and map in, because I've got a totally different green value here. Now terre green, it's a different value of the forest green because I don't want it to clash. I'll just quickly stamp this in where I want it with this forest green, using the water so it's going to transfer. Excuse me. Get some up into the water there. I'm going to darken up the very bottom of this as well, and then bring, my stuff's going to come out here, but I want to use this to create the depth of it all. Now we'll just block that in. Simple foreground here. You can do this. Now I do have some of that perylene green there. I want to get some of that as well, and just down in the very depth here, get a little bit of dark. That's it. Now I'm going to dry this so as I can put my real colours in there to make the shrubs that I want. Right. Okay, so I'm going to get me terre green, and I just want to map in where I want everything for this to go now. So I want something coming from here. I'm just going to do umbrella shapes, gaps, so you can see what's there. It's coming back off the painting like so, okay? I've got windows within it. Now it looks a bit thick and mumble jumble, but we need something just coming off the painting here, flourishing out into the water there, like about there. Gaps coming down here. Boom, that's it. Now I'm going back to that flat chiseled brush, and I want to create the grass that I want to achieve out here now. So I want stuff coming out into the water like this, stuff coming from here. I'm going to add just a bit of white just to mute this a bit, this verte green, just to get it a different value. I'm not happy with that just went on there. There we go, and this is going to sit, so pretty much here. Come down in front of all this dark stuff, and you're sitting on top of that, because that's our depth of what we're creating here. This is going to have like, what would you say? We call it golden wattle, furry stuff, little balls of yellow stuff. Now, where are we? Nice and in here, right over the water there, right over the water into this dark bit. Feather it out, merge it, right over there. And all the way along here, all this is gonna, once we depth and highlight this, you're gonna go, wow, I like that, I like that. Bring it into this dark bits here and there. Keeping it that fingery, sprawled out look where it's, you're kind of looking over the top of it. You want to see some dark there. Okay, back to this flat filbert again, and I'm grabbing the terre green and the cadmium yellow. I want to highlight it. There's a different highlight now, just for what I put on the side of the painting there. And this stuff that we put out here, I want to start dancing over that darker stuff that I put in there. Coming off, leaving some dark bits. Just like so. Now I want to grab the flat chisel brush as well. This stuff that we put down the bottom here, I want to highlight that. So we're going to make that really highlighted now. So we're going to get this and mix it into this. Look at that, it's got green in it, it's beautiful. This is real yellow. Happening over all here, bits of wattle. I might have to change the brush to create the balls of yellow stuff. I think I will. That brush is a bit too fat, so I'm just trying to find an appropriate brush. So we want bits of wattle scattering out all over there into the lake, over the top of the lake. Can have some more vibrant green down there. And this is right in front of that tree here that we just put in. It's sitting them back. Now this is something a beginner can work on and master. Grab your mouth stick, Malcolm. Start from the bottom, and I want to twist and get this as sharp as possible, making the twigs that are joining all this stuff together, instead of being big, thick, scratchy looking things. Coming from the dark within, up there holding that up. Grabbing that cadmium yellow, and where is that green? I'll put a little bit of that in there just to mute it a bit with that mixed green there, so it's not pure yellow. And we want it brighter than what was on there. Now I have dried it, and we're going to just simply come here if we can, condition your brush so it's going to land the way you want, and get all this wattle sinking those trunks down and highlighting that colour that you put on there before. Now that's making too much of a pattern there. Yeah, little round balls of gold and stuff. I'm just trying to finesse it now, so I'm grabbing just a pure yellow, trying to keep the brush open and just trying to bring some focus within these bits and pieces here of this golden wattle furry stuff, little balls of yellow fluff. I used to sing that at our school when I was a little kid. But in my mind, I'm still a little kid, I feel. Now I want to try something just a little bit different, just a little additive. I want to put a real close blade of grass or some leaf just here in the corner. So where's, is that forest green? Yeah, we'll grab some forest green just to make that. So we'll grab forest green and some cadmium yellow. Okay. And I want to try and create just a couple of blades of grass. Now I've never done this before, so this is the first time I'm doing it. So if it turns to snot, forgive me. Where do we want the dark? I'll put the, I don't know, let's see what's going to happen here. I'll try it on here first. Yeah, that'll do. So dark, light, and then we're going to go dark and making a blade of grass up here. Boom. Let's get dark in there. Oh, it needs to be a bit wetter, and a bit of light there. Boom. Get the dark that I want in there. And while I'm using a flat brush, I just feel like, boom, twist it. I'm just trying to put a simple blade of grass here, or a big leaf of some sort of tree, way up focused in more. And while the paint's still wet like so, and we'll get another one just jostling out as well. Boom there, right in front, that'll do. Nice point, bring it to a point. Come back again, bring him to a point. There we go. Okay. That'll do. Now while it's still wet, we'll pick up the yellow on the other, and then we're going to try and highlight that just like that. Bring it up, bang. Now I've got to, how are we going to do this one? We'll try this one somewhere like that. And this can go right in front of that, bang, pushing that one back. There we go. I gave it a go. Some of you are probably saying, yeah, that's all right, Ian, or some of you are going, Ian, what are you doing? Leave it alone. But anyway, here we go. Okay, I'll put an autograph on here and then we'll whack a frame on it. And this is the time I like to use to thank my patrons who support my content every month. There's a link in the description below if you want to become a patron. Patrons get to see all my work way before it's released, because sometimes paintings are painted weeks in advance before the tutorial comes out. And they get to see stuff way before everybody else. A little perk you get from being a patron. So thank you very much for your support. Message me in the comments below if you have any questions. Okay, see how she looks. Oh, there you go. That's not too shabby, is it? We've got a beautiful framed lake scene, trees, water subject. You can even have some dead twigs coming off here, or some green twigs, some birds in the sky, a bit of a stick. There's so many things you can do to that painting. But anyway, give it some practice and I know you can do it. Well, that was a great, fun exercise. I hope you got something out of that. Comment below if you did, and if you have any questions, ask them and they'll get addressed in my next Friday night live. And be sure to tell your friends if you like what you're seeing on my channel here. But if you don't like what you're seeing, you be sure to tell everybody. Goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.